beautiful people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Gianna Lian, and today I'm giving you guys my May reading wrap up. It is currently so hot outside today. Summer is officially here. No one can change my mind. But anyways, I read 6 books this month. I honestly really wish that I got to 7, but I just ran out of time. I did read 6 amazing / maybe some not so amazing books, and I'm here to tell you guys my thoughts, my opinions, my ratings, all that jazz. We all know how my monthly wrap-ups go by now. Okay, so first, starting off strong, I read Twisted Games by Anna Huang. 5 out of 5 stars, you guys. You already know. I rated Twisted Love a 5 out of 5, and we're still continuing the trend of 5 stars because I'm absolutely obsessed with this series. I cannot wait to pick up the rest of it. This one was a really good carryover from Twisted Love. This one does follow Bridget and Reese. I realized from all the videos that I included this in, I was pronouncing his name wrong the whole time, so I apologize. I do think it is Reese instead of Rise. So sorry. But yes, it does follow those two. Bridget is a princess and Reese is her new bodyguard, very protective, very controlling, all that. So I really enjoyed that aspect. Going into it, I didn't think I was really gonna like them because I didn't really vibe with them too much in Twisted Love from the small appearances we saw, but I take it back because I absolutely loved this couple so much. But for this one, we do have strangers to enemies to lovers and also a forbidden romance because Bridget is a princess. There's a lot of rules dealing with marriage laws and stuff like that in her kingdom that she's in line for the crown. So we do have that forbidden romance because she can only marry of noble blood. And then this book also is told in dual POV just like Twisted Love was, which I love. I think the main thing that really made me absolutely love this book was honestly the banter. I was obsessed with the banter in this, and I think that it was so good and something that just kept me hooked the entire time because I just wanted to know what joke or what side comment they were gonna make to each other next. So I honestly think, just like in Twisted Love, that Anna Huang could not have written these characters any more perfectly than she did. They were just absolute perfection. And another thing to mention is that this book was pretty spicy. I think this one was a little bit more spicier than Twisted Love if I had to choose. It's not overwhelmingly spicy, but if you are looking for more of a closed door romance, I don't recommend this series. So just a heads up about that. I really hope that the 3rd and 4th book live up to the first 2 because I've enjoyed these ones so much, and we're just gonna have to see. But this one was definitely a 5 out of 5 stars from me. Started off my month perfectly, which I needed because then I picked up How to Kill Men and Get Away with It by Katie Brent. And for this one, I'm really sad to say I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars, and that was me being generous because honestly, it just didn't live up to the hype. I thought I was gonna get so much more out of it than I did, and this was honestly my most anticipated read of May, so it was a huge letdown, let's just say that. But honestly, I feel like the title is kind of self-explanatory for this book. Other than that, there's not a lot that goes on. I felt like it was really repetitive. She would just get mad at someone, go kill them, and then try to cover it up. It just was very repetitive. There wasn't anything too exciting about it, but I did really enjoy the short chapters in it, and I did also enjoy how at the beginning of each chapter it showed like the location that scene was taking place in, which I thought was really cool because it kind of helped me piece together exactly the storyline. This book also is very modern. It's definitely on the more social media side. It's based on like Instagram followers and stuff like that. Like Kitty Collins is like famous, she's Instagram famous, so she's basically basing a lot of her friends on social standards and how famous they are. I don't really know. It just wasn't for me. It wasn't what I expected it to be, which kind of sucked, but overall I did enjoy the author's writing style, and I'm happy that I read it, but it's definitely not my favorite and one that I wouldn't really recommend too much. Next, I read The Devil Wears Black by LJ Shen, and oh my goodness, you guys, this one was probably my biggest surprise of the month because I just love this so much. I ended up rating this a 4.75 out of 5 stars. Wasn't expecting it at all. Honestly, going into this, I was not really vibing with the author's writing. It kind of was giving me Gone Girl vibes, which I hated that book. If you guys didn't watch that reading vlog, we have like a darker romance with like filthy, rich, and wealthy family vibes. And the story follows Chase and Maddie, which were exes. Second chance romance, maybe? Ex-enemies to lovers. We had a bunch of things going on in here that I absolutely just loved so much. And the biggest one, fake dating. Yep, you heard me say it. Fake dating along with everything else. So the story basically just revolves on after Chase and Maddie broke up, Chase comes running back back asking for a favor from Maddie, but little do they know that this one little favor will turn into a whole scandal that maybe will result in romance. I'm not gonna tell you, but I'm pretty sure we all can just jump to the conclusion and know sort of the ending. But the biggest thing that I absolutely loved about this book was honestly the banter. I've been really paying attention to the banter in books lately because I've realized that I really enjoy it. Not only that, but this book just really gave true enemies to lovers. Like, that trope was done perfectly in this book. Probably the best enemies to lovers book I've ever written. I just was laughing, rolling around on the floor from their banter and from their like side comments. It just was honestly the highlight of the whole book for me. I would say the only thing that pushed me away from not giving this a 5 stars was honestly the beginning, because of the slower start, because of how I kind of had to get used to the author's writing before really enjoying it. I feel like that kind of put the rating down a little bit lower. But even though the rest of the book was absolutely phenomenal, the end was phenomenal and heartwarming, it just didn't give me that 5-star feels, but I can settle for a 4.75. I think that's a good rating. Then I picked up Killer Content by Olivia Black. Not the best read, let's just say that. I ended up giving this a 2.5 out of 5 stars. Such a humongous letdown, but I honestly wasn't that surprised because it wasn't rated that good on Goodreads, and it's also not very known. Not a lot of people know about this book, so I wasn't that surprised that I didn't love it, but I wish I liked it a little bit more. But this just basically follows our main character, Odessa, and she stays at her aunt's apartment in New York City to cat sit while her aunt is away for the summer. So Odessa gets a job at this like book cafe, but instead of coffee it's like beer. I don't know. She actually befriends Bethany, which is another crucial character in this book that she ends up working with, but Bethany actually ends up going missing and is found dead, and it actually gets caught in the back of a flash mob wedding proposal. So it's basically just a book about Odessa going to extreme lengths, very dramatic lengths, to convince everyone in the crime case that Bethany was actually murdered and it wasn't an accident just like the cops think it is. That's basically all that goes on in this book. I think the one thing I can say that I really enjoyed about this book is that because it was based in New York City, it really gave me an inside look on like what New York City is like, the reality of living in New York, considering how expensive it is and how like the New York people act. Odessa explained them as the New Yorker way. So I found that part really interesting because I want to go there one day. But other than that, it just was so flat and bland. Not only that, but I do wish that we got more POVs than just Odessa. The whole book was just in Odessa's point of view, and I feel like if we got more characters' point of views, it would have spiced up the book a little bit more, added a little bit more suspense to it. It would have added more detail to it because it just was so bland with just Odessa's point of view. And the repetitiveness was just insane. Even though I did enjoy the author's writing, don't get me wrong, it was enjoyable. The repetitiveness and everything else I mentioned just didn't make up for the plot. Dragged out for way too long, and it just was not a vibe. Not the vibes that I thought that it was gonna be, to be honest. Next I read Set on You by Amy Lee, and I'm pretty sure I ended up giving this one just a solid 4 out of 5 stars. I could be wrong, but I'm kind of going in between 4 and 4.5 out of 5. But before I even explain this, I just want to say the plot of this book, I'm just so obsessed with it. It had everything that I wanted in it and more. We have like the guy falls first and then falls harder type vibes. We have strangers to enemies to lovers. We have lots of social media aspects going on, considering one of our main characters is a fitness influencer, and then our love interest is a steamy hot firefighter. It has everything just so perfect in it, and the whole book just got wrapped up perfectly. But they basically meet at the gym because Crystal absolutely loves this one squat rack in the gym, but then Scott, the steamy firefighter, always steals this squat rack, so he's deemed as the squat rack thief. And that's basically where they meet, and then they become gym enemies, but then we all know what ends up happening. Sparks fly, but they are tied together because they soon realize that their grandparents are actually getting married. So there's just a whole bunch of things going on, but it all works and it all flows. But on the topic of Scott, I think he is the perfect book boyfriend. He's just so sweet and is giving all those like sweetheart charmer boyfriend vibes. I just loved him, and he was just the sweetest character ever. But not only that, another thing to mention is that this book did include like text messages and emails and stuff like that. It was really fun, really cool. Not only that, but because Crystal is an Instagram influencer, influencer, it showed her Instagram posts on the pages and it showed her followers' comments as well, which was really, really cool. Even though it is kind of based on social media, it wasn't too much and it wasn't in your face, which I really enjoyed, because I feel like sometimes it can get a little bit too much where it's not enjoyable, but this one was not the case, thank God. But this one is actually the first one in the influencer series, I'm pretty sure, by Amy Lee. The second one, X's and O's, recently came out. It's definitely a newer release, but that one follows Crystal's sister, Tara, which we saw a little glimpse of in this book, but that one I'm pretty sure she's a bookstagrammer, which is even more perfect. So hopefully I will pick up that one, considering I loved this one so much. And then to end off my month, I actually just finished reading this a few hours ago, Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I finally read it, you guys. Yep, I finally did it. Am I happy that I did? I don't really know. I feel like I haven't let my thoughts sink in long enough to really explain to you guys my full thoughts in depth. But honestly, I don't really see the hype for this book, guys. I really don't. I annotated so much of this book. Let's just talk about that for a second. I really went all out because each page I read, I had something to say. Every single page I was like, highlight that. Write something about that, because it just made me so angry, but then made me feel so sad, and then put me in my feels. It just was all over the place. But I think I am gonna settle on a final rating for this book of 3.75 out of 5. I think that is a fair enough rating for this book, because I didn't absolutely hate it, but I definitely didn't love it. It definitely is overhyped in my opinion. I did know that this was a very toxic romance, Gossip Girl Make It British vibes, which is completely correct, but I didn't think it was that toxic. Every single page, they would do something to hurt each other. If it was intentional or not, they would. And it just got so annoying and repetitive. And honestly, I can't even say that there's a plot in this book. I genuinely do not think that there's a plot, because the whole entire time, it's just the characters going back and forth, hurting each other, getting back together, not getting back together, not talking to each other for a week. It just was so all over the place, and it just made me so frustrated. Not only that, I just didn't really enjoy the author's writing either. I was extremely confused for the first probably 50 pages of the book. But yeah, other than that, I can't really say too much that I really liked about this book. I mean, I love a good toxic romance, don't get me wrong. So I think I did enjoy the toxic aspects, but I think this one was definitely just the most toxic one I've ever written, or just blown out of proportion, to be honest. I don't know, guys. I think I need to let my thoughts sink in a little bit more, give it a little bit more thought, but for right now, I'm very back and forth with this one, to be honest. I don't know how to feel about it. Like, I can't decide if I absolutely love it or absolutely hate it. Like, I feel like there's no in between. I don't know. I'm just happy that I finally read it. I finally took it off my physical TBR, and I can finally have my own opinions on it. But these were the 6 books that I ended up reading in the month of May. I feel like I definitely found a few new favorites to add to my collection, but I definitely read someone that I can definitely say I will never be reading again. Definitely some letdowns this month. I feel like it was kind of 50-50, which never really happens, but I really hope that you guys had an amazing reading month for May. I hope you guys are getting all your summer TBRs ready. If you guys need some extra book recommendations or things to add to your summer TBR, go check out my summer book recommendations video where I shared lots of recommendations and my summer TBR for you guys as well. And while you're at it, don't forget to check my link down in my description for my Patreon, which we did decide that we will be reading Mr. Wrong Number by Lynn Painter for our book club that I have over there for the month of June. So make sure you guys join with the link in my description, so then you guys can participate in reading with us over on my book club. But other than that, I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you guys did, please make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that YouTube stuff you guys know how to do. And with that, I hope you guys are having an amazing, wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Bye! My May. Lovely. Okay. Oh, I guess I need my phone. That garbage truck really wants to do this now. Really showed the character development. I'm not gonna say that.